All right, guys, here where we're at. Directions don't show how to put in your intake here, so I'm gonna go kind of what I learned from just looking on YouTube. No real directions, but this is what I got figured out. Hopefully it's the right thing. First, I'll start off by going over my measurements. Your intake, cross to cross, here is about 9 and 30 seconds. So you can round it off to 10 if you want, or if you can be down to the nats, that's up to you. The length, 23 3/4, and then the height here is about two inches right here. So what I did is I marked off on my bottom of the boat, found the center mark, and I used these little notches that they have right here. Works out pretty good. There's one on each side, and I use that to center up the boat. I found my center mark, and then I took my 10 inches and then centered it up. I used masking tape to help keep the line straight, and then also it's gonna give me a cutting guide when I use my circular saw to cut it out. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and attempt this right here. Oh yeah, down here at the bottom, go down 2 inches. One thing I wanted to talk about is your whole setup on this boat. They tell you when you first start off, you start off right here and you measure 1/2 inch. And this is on the bottom side of the boat. And then you lay out your rear transom, and you gotta make sure that, as you can see where I marked the tape right here, this isn't a 1/2 inch. This is actually, I went 1/2 inch, and then I went 1/8 of an inch back towards, so I'm on this side of the hull. So when this whole thing goes in there, it's gonna sit in here flush. Otherwise, if I went 1/2 inch and then I measured that, I would have been 1/8 of an inch off just because of the thickness of the metal. So keep in mind when you're doing all your measurements, laying it out, which side you put on the line. From the way I read the directions, you made your mark, lay down your back transom, and then, obviously when you're setting it all up, you got to minus off that 1/8 of an inch. So from here to this little mark back here is 1/2 inch, and then I want 1/8 of an inch this way, and then that's going to be flush with this side. And then I measured the 23 3/4 from here all the way, I'll show that again, from here all the way down to here. And then of course the 10 inches across and in your center line. So I'm gonna do a little time-lapse video of me cutting this thing. Some of the tools I'm using is I got my circular saw out, and I put an aluminum cutting blade on there. And then also I just got a jigsaw as well with a metal cutting blade. So keep watching and we'll see how this thing goes. Wish me luck.
So this part right here, I was a little bit nervous cutting a hole on the bottom of my boat, but I went for it, and using that tape helped me keep the guide straight, where I can keep a nice straight line. That metal blade I bought was a Diablo blade used for aluminum, and it really cut through this like butter. As you can see, I'm kind of taking my time following that straight edge line with the masking tape. Not sure what happened here, but I got a little kickback. Not sure if it got binded up with the metal or whatnot, but it was my first cuts and I didn't see anything pinching, but thankfully I still have all my fingers. Little kickback, reset, didn't happen again.
We'll cut that one out.
Wasn't sure how to cut this one, whether to drill holes, do it with the jigsaw, sawzall, whatever. But I chose to go with the circular saw just because having a little bit of wood experience, kind of use it in the same manner. Just held it at an angle and then just kind of plunge cut it and then work my way back and forth slowly until I was able to fully cut that bottom piece.
go.
So I got that piece cut out. Now is the fitment for the intake. So it's obviously it's not fitting perfectly, so I have to come back here with my grinder and shave off a couple little areas to get it to fit nicely.
All right, folks, let me tell you where I'm at. So right now I got the intake cut out. It's not even tacked in, but it's in place. So I'm gonna do a video showing me doing that. But I wanted to tell you why I chose to go this route and that there's no direction. So let me flip this camera around. All right, guys, so this is where I'm at. So on the back side over here, sorry about that. All right, so now I got a flush mounted. And the reason why I did a flush here, I'm not putting that UV plastic stuff on the bottom. I chose not to do that because the location I'm gonna be boating, we go to Parker Strip, which is, I'm not gonna be going over logs and stuff like that. So I chose not to do that. Also, I didn't want to put 100 and some holes on the bottom of my boat and just worry about leaks. So I went flush here, and my next video, I talk about how I did my measurements and how I got where I'm at right here. So right now it's just sitting in there. I still got a little bit of trim work to do down here. I'm gonna get these flush, and then once I get that done, I'll tack it in. I'll flip the boat over, make sure the jet lines up, everything lines up, and then I will fully weld that piece in. So stay tuned.